Hey guys, so this is part 2 of the screw tutorial where you're going to design your own nut for your screw. So I'm already in my Natalie Fauchet, my first last name screw file where you designed your screw last time. So you should still have your screw. Now I forgot to mention this part. I'd like you to put your initials on the top of your screw in 3D CAD. Now that might sound difficult, but just hang in there and follow along to what I'm doing. So first thing I want you to do, I noticed a lot of you have your screens zoomed way out here, or closer, but you know, that's an exaggeration. Anyway, this is really small. I don't often design this small at all. The only time I have it this small is when I need to see my whole work plane so I can see where to move things. So what I want you to do right away is first select your screw. You can see the selection cues here. That means I selected my screw. And then I want you to go to the left side of your screen. You'll see under the Home View button, there's a Fit View to Selection button. I'd like you to click on that, and that will fit the selection right in the center of your screen. It's very helpful. So after you do that, I'd like you to see the 3 black arrows that you might see if you look at it from your bird's eye perspective. Your bird's eye perspective is from the top down. So you can see I'm in this corner right here. My cube is angled to the corner so I can see all sides and perspectives. It's really helpful in 3D CAD to design this way. Designing like this is not very helpful. I cannot see the back. Designing like this is not helpful because I can't see the front or sides. I can't see the bottom either. So it's really helpful to design this way because you can see all perspectives of your 3D object. So let's click on this set of arrows right here. You can use either these or these. Don't use these though because we're not going to rotate it this way. We're just going to rotate it so that we can see the top and we can put our initials in the top of our screw. So click on one of these arrows here. Zoom out a little bit. And then you'll see that it says 0 degrees right here. I'd like you to click on that and type in 180. And you'll see that it rotates the screw right away, so you'll just see the top. Okay? So I'll do that one more time because it's kind of difficult. So I'll choose these arrows this time and type in 180. And I'll rotate. Okay. I'm going to go back to Basic Shapes on the right hand side of my screen and select the text basic shape and drag and drop it out onto my work plane. Now I'm going to hold Shift on your keyboard and I'm going to grab one of the white squares, that indicates that I selected this text, and I'm going to drag it inward so it resizes all dimensions at the same time. I'm going to change the height of this to 2, and I'm going to type in my name or my initials N. NF. You can do a space. You can not do a space. I might do a space. I've never done that before, but I'll try it. And then I'm going to move it onto my screw. Now you notice how it goes right into the object. Remember, just use the black arrow on the top to move it up into the top of your screw. And then you'll see it again. Just keep doing that until you actually have it where you need it. It's kind of hard to see right now. Let me figure that out. There we go. And then I'm going to move it down into my screw. I'm going to center it. Now this is when I go onto the top because I'm only designing in the top now. Yeah, let's put it in the middle. Cool. And then you're going to click into left empty space. Re-click on your initials. Make sure you're only clicking on your initials, not on the screw too. Drop down the properties box and change that into a hole. Right here, used to be a solid, now it's a hole. Left click, hold, drag, select all shapes, Control G, or a grouping button right here. That will group and etch your name into your screw. Or etch your initials into your screw. Great. Okay, now that we finished the screw, you can move it over, because now I'm going to do the nut. So the nut, you need another cylinder, so drag drop your cylinder onto your work plane, resize the nut to 7 millimeters tall again, and then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to change the screw color to red. And then I'd like you to click on your screw, change the screw nut color to red. And then click on your screw, Control D or duplicate, upper left. And remember, it duplicates right on top of the original, so don't freak out if you don't see the duplicate. It's right on top. Just move it over. Now for the duplicate, I'd like you to turn that into a hole. So here, turn into a hole. And then let's center it onto your nut. So again, I'm going to go on the bottom of my cube. I'm going to fit view to selection. And then I'm going to center my screw. Remember, you can always change the snap to grid to something lower than 0.1 millimeter. I usually like 0.25 millimeters. That will move things slower and more finer, so it's easier to center things. Once you have it centered, go back up. Make sure your screw goes all the way through your nut. That's kind of important. And then you're going to left click into empty space, and then left click hold into empty space, drag over both objects, and group. And then you'll see there's a hole in your nut, but actually this hole's not big enough for your screw to go through. So that it has to do with tolerance. You need to allow enough room for something to fit into another thing. That is called tolerance. So in order to do that, let's left click, drag, select all objects, and ungroup. So it's the button right next to the grouping button. You can either hit Control U or the ungroup button, and it'll ungroup all objects. I'll do it one more time. So what we have to do here is we have to change the diameter of this screw to allow for room for this screw to fit inside this nut. How we're going to do that is by clicking the screw that we changed to a hole, and then we're going to resize its dimensions by clicking on the white box. One of them, you can click on this one, this one, this one. Doesn't matter, don't click on this one, that's the height. You want to resize the diameter. So we're going to change it to 23 for width and length. 23 will allow for 3 millimeters of tolerance. Now if you don't understand the concept of tolerance, just come to me again and I'll explain it to you so you understand, okay? It's important to understand this concept. It might come up later when you're designing in 3D CAD by yourself or with me, you just never know. So left click into empty space, drag, and select all the objects one more time after you centered your newly diametered screw. Grouping button or Control G, and there's your nut. Now you can always etch your initials into your nut too. I have no problem with that. All the easier to make sure we don't mix up our stuff. So I'm going to do NF again, and then I'm going to change the color of this so I can see it while I'm moving it. And then I'm going to move it up, move it over, going to look closer, gonna make it smaller, much smaller, and hopefully that will be fine. Maybe a little bit smaller. So I need to flip that over because my name is the wrong way. And then I'm going to change that into a hole again. Remember, make sure that only the text is highlighted with these selection cues, not the nut too. You don't want to change both into a hole. And then left click, hold, drag over both, and then group. And it will etch your name into your nut. And there you have it. Your nut and your screw. Personalized. Good job. So now that you finish this, free time, or there's a really fun project I have. So if you want to do the fun project, just come see me. Thank you guys. Good job.